Depending on the size of hoop that you choose to use, you may need to move your hoop arms. The machines have two positions. They have an inner position for the hoop arm and an outer position for the hoop arm, and that's going to depend largely on what type and what size of hoop you're choosing to use. If I'm using a large hoop, my hoop arms are going to be in the outer position. If I'm choosing to use a smaller hoop, typically my arms are going to be in the inner position. To change that, some people find it easier to move the needle case all the way to one side, deal with one hoop arm, move it all the way to the other, and then deal with the other hoop arm. I typically just leave it kind of set in the middle, if I even think about it, and then I will just deal with both hoop arms. To change these hoop arms, you want your 6mm Allen wrench out of your operator's kit. I'm just going to loosen these thumb screws. Once I crack them loose, I'm just going to unscrew them completely. Now I can replace it, and I like to start the thumb screws before tightening them. So I start each one before tightening either one. And now you'll repeat the process on the other side. So loosen them up and then remove them. Now I'm going to put them on again in the outer position. And I like to start each one. Careful not to cross thread, and then I'll go ahead and tighten them down. Now you notice I leave it loose enough to move just a touch. Before I tighten those screws completely, what I'll do is load a hoop just to make sure that these clip in well and are aligned appropriately. Once that's done, I'll go ahead and take these to finger tight, and then I'll tighten them with an Allen wrench, an eighth, maybe a quarter turn more. Now my hoop arms are moved and I'm ready to sew with a larger hoop. If you were going from larger to smaller, the process is exactly the same, except you take them off out of the outer position, you move them to the inner position, load the smaller hoop, make sure everything's straight, tighten them down. Be careful when tightening those screws. You do have a spare one in your operator's kit. These screws are machined out to ensure that they snap before they do damage to the machine. So that's why I say take an Allen wrench and tighten them a quarter to, or I guess an eighth to a quarter turn more. If you just go until they're tight, these will snap off. Again, they're machined out to make sure that they snap before damage to the carriage can occur. If that's the case, you do have one spare in your operator's kit. You can also order more, but I would not tighten them so tightly next time. So finger tight, eighth to a quarter turn more with an Allen wrench.